Hi, Mr. Durgesh, you have joined us. Can you please check if you can,
Sh-
if you can hear us? Can you just say yes?
Hello.
Hi, Mr. Durgesh.
Yes, hello. Good
Hi, can you
evening.
switch on? Hi, nice to meet you. Can you switch on your video, please?
Sure,
It's a
sure.
webinar, so yeah, thanks. So we are basically waiting for others to join in. As long as everyone's video is live, we will start the webinar.
Sure, sir, sure.
Great. Hi, my request to all the experts who are joining in for the webinar, can you switch on the video and audio so that we can check if everyone can listen to us? I've already talked to Dr. Prabhakaran and Durgesh ji, and they're clearly visible and audible. Shweta as well, but I need to get a go from Miss Nandini and Sanjana and yeah, these are the two. So we are waiting for two more experts, and as soon as they join, we can start this. So I have been told that it's already 3:15, and Sanjana is already with us. So we are still missing Miss V Nandini, but I've been asked to start because the users and the registered people have registered participants have already joined. Sanjana, can you hear us? I
Hello.
Hi, you can hear us, right? Can you switch on your video,
Yes,
please?
yes, yes. I'm just doing it. Yes.
Okay, please switch on your video. So right now the panel is almost complete, but we don't have V Nandini yet. But as it's a little late, and we're delayed by 15 minutes or so. So we will start it right away. Thank you. So
Hello,
all
hello,
the hi
hello,
everyone.
everybody.
Welcome to
Hello.
this webinar.
Hi.
This is a very timely discussion, I think. In this COVID-19 lockdown, everybody is either losing weight or gaining weight, and that is a conversation that we are having every day on social media. But
Yeah.
what we are going to do today is, with you all experts, we will try and focus on the scientific aspects of it, and not just in the binaries of losing weight or gaining weight and how one looks, because this is one of the most important body related topic which we can think of. And food is, of course, both a psychological thing and obviously a physical need. We are trying to focus on how much the popular culture affects our eating, how much social media, how much of family, how much of friends, how much of peer, how we look, it affects us through them. And I'm going to take all your views, considerations, and obviously we will have a question answer round with the users who will be sending us the questions through chat. Uh, whoever, all of the users who are listening, please keep it short, and if you can, then please address it to the respective experts, so that I can put to them with clarity. With that, let me begin. Today, we have with us, one by one, I will introduce all the experts we have. First, let me introduce Dr. Prabhakaran. He's a hypnotist, he's a clinical psychologist, and he has worked extensively in as a therapist, a spiritual scientist, and as a healer. He's also a success coach. Next, we have Mr. Durgesh Arawala. He's a certified nutritionist and a fitness instructor. He's also an aspiring psychologist who will give certain angles into the psychology of eating. Then we have with us Ms. Sweta Ashok. She is the founder of Good Guru. She's a nutritionist, biochemist, and a microbiologist. So I will be asking her about the science of what we eat and what we should not eat. Let's put it this way. Then we have Ms. Sanjana Sharma, who is the founder of the Sarviyuj Wellness and Fitness Studio. She practices therapeutic yoga, hatha yoga, and she also gives lessons on how to imbibe nutrition into your practices of yoga and have a holistic experience. So that is something which we will discuss with her extensively about how not just eating but doing certain practices like yoga in combination to what we eat is extremely important. So, welcome all of you, and let me first start with the basic question that looking a certain way is a populist social construct that exerts immense influence on people's eating habits. However, as experts, can you enlighten us how problematic this can be for someone's health, and what should be the prudent rationale behind choosing what we eat? Maybe start with Shweta.
Um, I think with this, like especially during the lockdown, like you said, this has been a weight loss, weight gain journey,
Yeah,
and it's I think it's a lot of awareness has to be created around the fact that food is not just about a weight loss concept, and
yeah,
it's not just about how you look, because like personally I know so many people who look skinny, but if you go to see, they have so many health issues. They have PCOD, they have diabetes, and all of this starts coming because they are overly obsessed with how they start looking instead of not just how they feel. I think maybe the other experts would also agree with this, that it's not just that the food or how you look, it's also how fit you feel, how
yeah,
energetic you feel throughout the day.
Yeah, correct.
So that's very important, and all of this comes with a combination of good exercise, good food, your mental health, your emotional health, everything
yeah.
contributes to this. It can't just be how you look, because
Right,
that's not going to help you in the long run.
right. Dr. Natarajan, you must have had many patients who are overly obsessed with how they look. How do you address this issue?
You ask me, sir?
Yes, yes, Dr. Natarajan.
Actually, I'm Dr. Prabhakaran.
Dr. Prabhakaran, sorry.
Okay. See, actually, people, they are not happy being overweight.
Yeah,
Also, they don't find any meaningful solution. So now I have to completely attack them in two fronts. One, I have to educate them how to get rid of getting attached to food. Also,
okay.
I'll be motivating them how to do the exercises
Sir, your audio got muted. Can you unmute it?
become
Yeah,
easy for them.
yeah.
Try to understand one important point. People, most of them are not rational when they come towards getting obsessed towards eating
Sir, it got muted again.
for fuel purpose. Eating should never be for the purpose of fun. But
Okay,
most people, they attach fun towards eating, and this we have to delink. Then
okay.
only they will be properly oriented. There are a lot of management methods available where we can delink food attaching with the fun. If this has been done effectively, then most of the things will easily fall in place. Is that fine?
Right. Yeah, I understand. Sanjana, in your experience, how important is dealing with people who overly obsess with their looks and not their basic health?
There are, frankly speaking, there are many, and most of them are like that, right? So people think about being slimmy nowadays because a lot of social media influences. Yes, you are absolutely right. After looking at the slim body, and everybody, even especially women, right? They want
Yeah,
to be very slim, fit, and they don't care about being healthy, right? Even most of them, all of them, right? They have this thing in mind that they have to be right in that shape, this shape, completely zero figure, or belly should be completely in, right? It should be very,
ah,
very.
yeah,
I need to look fine from my hip side, from my thigh should be. People have this concern, especially the belly concern, the burst area. They
yeah,
they they
right,
see because due to this social media, especially too much of influence, right? Especially in women, and
yeah,
men are still I mean it's still fine, but
yeah,
women whom are am I dealing with, so I feel that they are obsessed with the this look thing, right?
yeah,
So I think people need to be very, very careful about their diet, right? As in my case, it's they need to think about their being healthy, right? Not just
yeah,
being skinny, right?
right,
When we say being healthy, so of course 60% of your diet and 40% of your fitness activity, fitness regime, right?
right,
Which help you to get to that certain level, and which is very, very important, especially people who are in this 25 plus age group. They
right,
have to be very, very careful about their diet, which is definitely, as we say, right, there are six nutritions which we
mm,
need to be careful about. We need to understand, like, we need to have protein in our diet.
right,
If you really want to lose weight, then there should be a proper good enough fiber in your food, right? And completely needs to be avoided this processed fats and all which is available in the market, packaged food. So people need to think about this, I mean, more, rather than thinking about being slimmy, what I feel, right?
right,
That will come if you take care of your health, in certain level. That will be the end goal, that will
right.
come for sure,
It will
right?
be a means
But
to an end, not an end
yes,
to a
yes,
mean.
it will come within 6 months or 8 months of practice. But this should be like a continuous practice, right? It's
Right,
just not to get in a slimmy or skinny body. It should be like continuous practice to be healthy,
Right.
right? As I said, the proper diet and a minimum of 50 minutes of the fitness regime. It could be anything. It could be your Zumba, it could be yoga, it could be cardio, it could
Right.
be weight training, it could be aerobics, right? But
Okay.
that's how it should be, right?
Right. I
And
understand.
the complete balanced diet,
Yeah.
which people need to think of, right?
Right. Right.
They need to understand that
Right.
first. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very illuminating. Mr. Durgesh, what is your take
Yes,
on
sir.
it? Uh, how do you think that what people attach themselves to in terms of body negativity? A lot of people are not happy with how they look. And as a nutritionist and also as an aspiring psychologist, how do you deal with this problem that people who are not happy with their looks?
So, to be honest, in this pandemic period or lockdown, people staying at home and they made them to cook more delicious and junk foods,
Yeah, right.
which also made them realize right now, because now slowly the unlocking has been
Started.
implemented.
Yeah.
Now people started realizing that they have overput the weights, and now they are getting awareness of nutrition, what they are wanted to eat, what slowly the people have started joining the gyms, and now they are realizing what happened in the lockdown period.
Right.
And the main awareness that people should have what the macronutrients that their necessity is, and that they should have it. The people should get awareness about what they have to eat, the basic food which they need, not the food which is delicious, also should be very healthy
All right.
in terms such as protein, carbohydrates, fat. People should
Exactly
know
what
the
Sanjana said. Yeah.
basic what is the source of protein, sources of fats, and carbohydrates.
Right.
People don't look up at all things in a nutritional way because they feel it's a rocket science or something which is not related to them. But this is the basic education which every person should know before they want to transform their body.
I understand.
So, as for me, I always suggest people to know what is the basic food, the composition of food or fundamentals of nutrition,
Hmm.
what the calories are required, or what the nutrition, the basic based on the RDA, what they have to require. I always suggest them.
Right.
So, based on this basic knowledge, they will be able to transform their body.
Right. Shweta, coming back to you, you run Gut Guru, and we this is what we talk about when we talk about food. We also have to talk about how people in all parts of the world, and not only in India, fast indiscriminately, sometimes harming themselves, like someone going on for few hours empty stomach might develop certain problems such as gastritis or acidity and so on. In your opinion, does fasting help if done properly? And if you recommend someone for fasting, and this goes to all of you, what is your general pointers you say that you should do this to remain healthy while fasting?
So I'll tell you this: if you go to see, our body naturally goes through a fasting period.
Yeah, of course.
You eat on time,
Hmm.
right? So say I've woken up at 7 in the morning and I start my day properly. Then by 8 in the evening, I'm going to automatically have dinner. So that's going to be my last meal. And then I would be sleeping. So when I'm sleeping, I'm naturally fasting,
Yeah.
right? The misconception that basically what happens is people are nowadays eating their dinner at 10, 10:30, 11. It goes
Right.
times till 12 also.
Yeah.
And then they're like, okay, but now body is not fasting naturally and I'm putting on weight. So then they start, applying all these 16-hour fasts and all.
Yeah.
What they don't realize is then this spoils your gut, because at the end of the day, acidity starts developing when you
Yeah.
have a very long gap between your meals. This also slows down your metabolism, which results in weight gain. So
Right.
what you're actually trying to do, it's counterproductive, because you're
Right.
trying to lose weight, but you're doing the exact opposite to make it happen.
Exactly.
Right. So even if you are fasting, we should actually fast like how our grandmothers used to do it. Like, once in
Once.
a month, Shraddh Aya, Shraddh Mahina Aya,
Yes.
Yeah,
or,
yeah, yeah.
something like that, where Navratri is going
That
on.
that was, yes, that was the
That's
way. Actually, ancient times, no, the
That
old
is
approach.
actual. That
That
is
was
actual
the
fasting.
right, right. And I'm
Right.
glad that all of you who are here are completely like we're all aligned with the same concepts, because this is a big problem
Yeah.
when it comes to talking to clients, and it's very difficult to get them out of this fasting thing also. Like, some people are
Hmm.
like, no, this intermittent is what works for me, and that's what I'm,
Became a trend.
but they don't think in the long run that how it's going to impact. Even if you are fasting, what you asked me to get back to that, if you are fasting, you should do it only once a month
Okay.
as a cleansing process, because we are constantly eating every
Detoxification.
day. So
Okay.
we don't need to give our gut a break so that it can get its function, like it starts functioning well again.
Right.
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 Because we're continuously putting food in it throughout the month. So one day
Right.
in a month is enough to, detoxify your body. And even when it comes to detoxifying, people go on this water diet and
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
eating a lot of food in 2 hours and then completely avoiding food. That's
Right.
not how it should be done. You,
Right.
in fact, what along with water, you need to have small meals
Right.
like fruits, simple foods like if you're a South Indian, then dosas, idlis, they're very light on the stomach. If you're North Indian, I also believe that stick to what you've been doing in your culture,
Right. Right.
right? If you're a Punjabi and if you ask a Punjabi ki paratha khana band kar do, like stop eating your paratha,
Yeah.
that's just like also getting them out of their mindset, which in turn will then they'll have a wrong misconception against the whole diet word.
Yeah.
They'll,
It might just antagonize the
yeah,
person, right?
right,
Uh, if you're asking something like, if someone asks me to stop eating fish, I will be very offended. So, yeah. So, and quickly a follow up. What do you recommend is the correct time of eating? And it goes for everyone, not just Shweta. For dinner, like dinner is one of the most important meal, because after that we generally sleep, and that might induce weight gain and indigestion and so on. So according to all of you, what do you recommend? What should be the correct way of having dinner? Like, what should be the time? How much time we should give before, you know, after having dinner and going to sleep? Is there should we give it a chance to the food get digested and so on?
They
so
should be
basically,
at 3 hours before the bedtime. If they have a dinner before 3 hours bedtime, it would be a good thing for the digestion.
And what time do you recommend, Mr. Durgesh?
7
Generally in the
p.m.
evening.
7 p.m. is a good time for the dinner.
Okay, Sweta.
sorry.
Yeah, what time do you recommend?
See, it depends, of course, but I would agree with Mr. Durgesh that it's early to bed, early to rise really works here, because maximum your dinner should go as late as 8:30, as
Okay,
late as 8.
Sanjana, what is
yeah,
your
the
opinion?
same, the same, same. Yes,
Okay,
yes. Because I believe like people should sleep by 10, 10:30. It's very difficult nowadays to follow, but this
right.
is called the healthy lifestyle, what everybody says, right? It's a very basic thing. If we follow the basic thing, right?
Yeah.
That's the end problem, I mean, end solution for each and every problem. And 7 to 8, as everybody said, yes, and 2 to 3 hours of gap between the time you go to your bed and the last dinner. And
Okay.
even if you see the Chinese, right, the Chinese people, they eat very early dinner. I mean, their
Hmm.
timing for dinner is like 6:30. I mean, before the sunset,
Yes,
right? I mean, they
exactly.
have this thing, and it's a very good approach, by the way. And
Okay.
then next day morning they take like early breakfast, not the early breakfast, but yes, 8
Right.
is somewhere between 8. So like this is small meals, and right, 3 4 meals, and like 8 and then 10, and then by 1, and then in the evening. So this
Right.
is the right way to break it, and this is the right way to do it.
Yeah, that's illuminating. Dr. Prabhakaran,
Yes.
I will ask you this question as well, but I just want to get back to you on this fasting thing as well. Have you met such patients in your profession who are obsessively fasting and harming their health in that process? And if you have, what do you generally recommend to people who are fasting indiscriminately and not in a scientific way?
Definitely, it is wrong. It is not at all a right method. Yes,
Okay.
I do have patients, right, who just fast abnormally in order to become very skinny. And
Hmm.
nowadays, most people, right, they just relate to the even cinema stars. They want to be like that. They want to have
Hmm.
a collarbones and they want to be very skinny and everything. But the system is having an intelligence inside. That only people should understand. It is not something very stupid. It has
Right.
its own intelligence, and unless you just do everything in a methodological, scientific, gradual way, it will have its own repercussions. I have even
Right.
many cinema stars who did like that, and then they went into abnormal digestion problem and all those things, and they just went out of the cinema field itself. So that
Right.
definitely I don't recommend at all to just fast indiscriminately. It should be gradual, especially better with help of some coach and like that. They have to
Right.
do very in a very gradual way, reducing the intake in a gradual fashion, and that is the correct way to lose weight. And
Right.
second, with respect to dinner, I just prefer 8 p.m. That will be correct, because nowadays people sleep 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, even 1 o'clock. I just see people like that only. So
Uh-huh.
they are not sleeping. The correct way is right, early to bed, early to rise, but people are not following that. So
Right.
in that case, one important thing which people should realize is they should eat, and the ate material should be digested before they sleep. Otherwise, right, see, when you eat, the blood goes to the stomach to get digested, and you won't get the blood for sleeping.
Right.
So if you just sleep immediately, the blood will not go to the brain, and it will not help you to sleep. So it
Okay.
is definitely very, very good that you have to digest your food before sleeping. So 8 o'clock will be ideal, because nowadays people go to bed 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock like that. So people are getting confused, means what time you are going to go bed, right? Before 2 to 3 hours, you have to finish your dinner.
Right. I understand. Now, this time, and particularly, I want to ask this to Mr. Durgesh, that a lot of people are under stress, as you spoke about
Yes, sir.
COVID, and there is this strange phenomena that is quite rampant. Actually, is stress eating. People are
Yes, sir.
who are feeling some sort of stress are trying to cope it with eating something which they don't necessarily need to eat. How do we address this problem?
Coming to the stress eating, there are two types of people. Either they eat very, very irregular practices or regular times, or else the overeating.
Okay. Yeah.
People do because of the stress feeling, that to distract themselves, or to make themselves feel full. If the stomach is empty or very stressful, there are certain hormones which will release in the human body, which makes them feel very uneasy. So in
Right.
order to make it calm or relaxed, they eat, which is very I say it is not it is very unhealthy, and
Okay.
that makes a person obese, or it may also make a eating disorder as well.
Right.
So the solution for this is they have to come up with a mentally therapy, which is to make first they have to make them mentally, which they have to control the stress with
Hmm.
the practice of a meditation, or with the emotional intelligence, which they have to make the thoughts, thinking process
Yeah.
normalized, and then think what they are doing alertly.
Right.
For example, if person is stressed, he don't think what he is doing. He will either he will eat overeating, or he won't eat at the time. He will
Right.
skip the meals, which is very unhealthy.
I understand.
So I feel that they have to make them calm first, and make the stress controlled,
Hmm.
and then think of what they are eating. Are
You're not audible. Is Can you check your headphone once?
excuse me.
Yeah. 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 You are audible now.
They have to question themselves that are they really hungry or are they stressfully eating. So
Right.
with this logically or with this emotional intelligence, they can control their appetite or they can control their stress, what we can call it.
I can understand. Uh, Now, moving on, this question goes to both Shweta and Sanjana, and I will come up to Dr. Prabhakaran after this. Shweta and Sanjana, both of you approach nutrition much more holistically, right? You check a client's personal lifestyle, you check someone's history of
Yeah.
what kind of medication they are on, and so
Yes, yes.
this is not, this is more than food, right? This is sort of a lifestyle change. Now when you
Lifestyle
approach
change.
someone, when you ask someone to radically probably change their lifestyle, how open you find them, and if they are not if they are not ready to get convinced, what are your approach? Like, I'm asking both Sanjana, Shweta, and I will come to Dr. Prabhakaran after this.
I think, and maybe Sanjana would agree, that it's extremely challenging. uh,
Right.
because um, firstly, it's if a child would be my client, absolutely easy, because I feel
Yeah.
it's much easier to make a child understand the need, and rather than an adult, because I
Right.
think as we grow we want to learn less also, and we want to we're not
Yes.
very open to changes.
Right.
But to answer how, like, how we deal with this, I think it takes time. Everything happens gradually. You really
Yeah.
have to understand that on the other side of your phone, or if you're that that person is also human, and
Right.
you need to be more empathetic than try and impose things altogether.
I understand.
So
Sanjana, yeah, sorry,
no,
please,
no,
please
no.
continue.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you have to create awareness. You have to tell them why it's important to make the lifestyle changes, and
Okay,
it's a lot of learning. It's a learning curve for them also. You know.
right. Sanjana, what is your approach at Serviuch?
Yeah. So, yes, so they basically what happens when people started, it's anyway difficult to start. It's anyway
Exactly.
difficult to be in certain lifestyle. It's a completely lifestyle change, as Shweta said. Yes. So, I have seen like people have that issues of, there are many factors actually, which
Hmm.
influences them. There are economic factors, right? They might be agree to come on that healthy lifestyle changes, but it's not that easy for some people, right? Might they have certain economic factor also, might
I understand.
they have some kind of family issues also, even if they want. Because see, it's same as they can't cook something which is not even affordable to them,
I
right?
understand. Yeah.
So there are many factors which influence, even people are ready to change their lifestyle. The time is the issue, the family needs, the economic factors there. Of course, I tell them what they need exactly as per their health,
Right.
but there are multiple factors, right, which influence them.
Right.
And definitely, but yes, when we see, when they see actually the difference after a month or 2 months of
Yeah. Yeah.
practice,
Yeah.
then they start, listening, right?
Right.
Yes, it is working. Like, yes, she's guiding it correctly, and yes, we should listen to her. That's
Hmm.
how they think, right? And then
Exactly.
slowly, I make them to understand this diet thing, and then after looking at their food preferences, their choices, are they allergic to something,
Yeah.
and what is the exactly their body requirement, then only I
So
usually suggest.
basically, a very customized approach,
Very, very
which,
customized. It's not at
okay.
all a standard
And
approach.
a lot of
uh,
also, I think, Sanjana, won't you agree that it takes time that the trust factor develops, and
yes, yes,
then
that's what.
they,
Yes.
then they start getting comfortable. Then they're like, okay, that's how
Yes,
life
that's what I
Right.
said. After
is
a month or two,
to
when
do.
they see, yes, things are changing,
Results.
yes, I'm feeling better, then only they think, right, yeah, okay, I can listen to her, and yeah, things are changing. Okay, let's go, whatever you say. Then they, after 2 months, not just in a
Good.
1 week or
This is
so,
this is
after 1 2 months.
time is an incentive here. I understand, Dr.
Yes,
Prabhakaran,
yes.
as a clinical psychologist. Lot of it is not only about eating, right? It is also about having a healthy lifestyle. So when you find if one of your patient is not following a healthy lifestyle, what is your general approach to try and convince that person to not only change their diet or just how they eat, but to imbibe a more healthy lifestyle?
Okay. See, people should understand the crux of the health. See, the size of the stomach is only this much,
Yeah, right.
only a handful. This is the size of the stomach. If this is the size of stomach, then let us compare, right, people's stomach, right, all of us, how much big we are having. Is
Right.
that correct? Definitely, it is not at all correct. Waistline is the fate line, and the sin of all is having a big belly, right?
Mhm.
A person who is controlling that will just definitely go towards the path of success. Now
Right.
there is a pelvic girdle. If you just see a hip bone, it is the pelvic girdle, and the stomach should be inside the pelvic girdle.
Okay.
Most of them, they are just bulging out. Now why? People should de-link happiness with food. That's very, very important. Most
Okay.
of us are irrational with this concept. We attach fun and happiness towards eating. That
Okay.
has to be de-linked. And now, if this is not de-linked, we keep on eating because we are having fun and meaning of life towards eating. And as we eat more, now problem with respect to metabolism takes place, and the onset of diabetes also more. And if
Right.
that happens, then stress comes into play. If the
Right.
stress is more, what
Yeah.
happens? Two dangerous hormones, cortisol and adrenaline, flows into the bloodstream. And when they flow into the bloodstream, they will just take the glycogen from the fat and they put that as glucose in the blood. Now
Okay.
already more glucose in the blood. Now again stress hormones are increasing the glucose in the blood. Because of that, we'll be getting the diabetes and lot of other
Diabetes.
complications. So
Mhm.
my major way of helping patients to come out of it, I always attack them at the roots. No use of just putting medicine over the leaves when the
Right.
problem is in the root. So the disease in the root will be removed by me by various treatment methods like cognitive behavioral therapy, psychotherapy, and hypnotherapy, hypnosis. Lot of
Right.
methods are there. Easily, I will just remove the addiction towards eating. Once we see, actually, now there is no point, right, in complaining. People are eating irrationally. People are eating more. People are involving in depression eating. No use. People are helpless. They can't come out of it. It's very difficult to come out of the addiction
I
towards
understand.
eating.
Yes.
We have, what I do is, I don't ask them to help themselves. I will help them to help themselves. I will help
Right.
them to help themselves. That means I have to complete, I'll be working on their conscious and subconscious mind working patterns towards the linking of attachment of fun and pleasure towards eating. I de-link that, then they get a comfort zone, they get a leverage. Once if this is done, you won't believe that people are working fantastically in coming out of the addiction towards food.
I understand. Mr. Durgesh, this is something that affects all of us. Like Dr. Prabhakaran said that
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Very true.
food is associated with fun. Food is associated with
Emotions and
eating out, meeting friends, and so on. So, what is the psychology that needs to be addressed when it comes to eating food? And also, as a nutritionist, how do we how do we associate eating with our psychology?
so eating food with a limit. The psychological factors do affect when we eat.
Right.
If we are having a food which we love, the secretion of enzymes in our mouth get generated and increased, and that food will get digested easily. So also there are certain situations like when our mother cooks food with a love, we eat even more with a love, which we connect our
Yeah.
emotions and feelings with the food,
Right.
and that food get digested very easily. But the thing is, question, Either you are eating heavily or either you are eating a junk. The
Right.
two aspects which you need to think in a nutritional way. Psychological way anyway is a default thing.
Right.
Is a default thing. What you eat doesn't matter, but the factors, what the emotion and feelings you are affecting on the food, is matters.
Right. I
So
understand.
eating the right food with the right emotions doesn't affect your body.
Okay. I understand.
So people also have to practice telling no to certain things.
Right.
Practicing telling no to certain things will make them being in a good lifestyle. For
I understand.
example, if us being in a social or being a social human being, we call for many parties for any
Mm-hmm.
occasions, also for festivals. We celebrate the festivals, parties, occasions with the food.
Exactly.
We cook the special food, delicious foods, so it might be a junk and healthy as well.
Yeah, I understand.
So people has to tell no to certain things to in order to make them healthy lifestyle.
Okay. Yeah, very well, interesting, but I'm sure it's very tough to do. Shweta, what is your
Mhm.
approach at Gadguru? How do you approach portion control when you are consulting someone?
Uh, no change is done immediately. Firstly, I have to understand how much they're eating currently, why they're eating that way, and gradually I reduce the portion. But there's a lot of meals throughout the day, so there are fruits, there are laddus in my diet. There's everything that one wants to satisfy all their taste buds. So
Right.
basically, if we eat by satisfying all our taste buds, then automatically we won't have cravings.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when you don't have cravings, you don't overeat. It's
Right.
natural, right? So it's more about understanding why they are doing it that way. Like Durgesh said, the emotions attached to food, or
Yeah.
um, maybe some stress is going on. Maybe there's work stress or family stress, and all that adds on to the portion.
Exactly.
Everything comes onto the food. So creating a very good relationship with food is the first important aspect to
Yes,
controlling your portion.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, one big problem is like if my mother cooks and I don't eat much, she will say that
exactly.
am I not cooking good enough for you or something like
Yeah,
that. So
yeah,
True.
I completely understand that. And because I've seen this in my family also, my mom will be like, lick the whole plate and eat it.
right,
Don't leave a morsel. But that's where then we have to bring our own, consciousness into it, that we need to then take only that much.
right,
That way, then you're not overeating. So first, there's a lot of visualization that goes into this. You need to
exactly.
see how much you're hungry. You need to take half of it. So when you
I
take
understand.
half of it, you're not emotionally, you're not being bad to your mom or your family members by not eating their entire food, so that they also don't say, ki, am I not cooking well? Is that why you're leaving
exactly.
stuff on the plate?
Right.
And you're taking the right portion. That way you're finishing everything on the plate. There's no food wastage also, because
I
that's also.
understand. Yeah, that's an issue. And Sanjana, I want to bring you in here. I want to understand if yoga plays a role when it comes to try and control your cravings, try and control your portions. Uh, is yoga a helpful factor in these indulgences?
Uh, yes, there are, because yoga is for mind and body,
Yeah,
Devadeep, right? As we know, it helps for mental health as well as for physical health.
Yes.
exactly.
So, yes, if you control your mind, you can control your body as well, right?
Right,
But
right.
yes, it takes time when it comes to yoga. You need to
Hmm.
be on regular on those practices, especially with your breathing exercises, especially that
Hmm.
meditation part, right? A lot of control of mind required. Once the mind controlled, already your body will be, satisfied at certain level.
Hmm.
So definitely yoga helps with that also. So there are certain practice, which in that case there are yoga nidras, there are different kind of meditation which I recommend to people, right? It's related to their issues.
Right.
If they have this overeating habit, if they have any particular sort of thing in mind, like if they don't eat they can't sleep. They multiple people have multiple, the things in their mind, right?
Right.
So there are a lot of cleaning process through
Hmm.
yoga, even through the, as I said, the yoga nidra, the meditation, right?
Exactly.
And the breathing practices for that. Yes,
Right. Right.
there are options to,
I understand.
overcome with that.
Yeah. So I mean, we are a little bit of, but we got some extra time, but as we started late. But this is a very important question, which I want to specifically ask Dr. Prabhakaran. But any of you who wants to chip in later, please do. So diabetes is sort of an it's everywhere these days. Particularly in India, the number of diabetic patients have risen exponentially in the last decade. Uh, First of all, can you identify why is this happening? And also, doctor, this is something which is a comorbidity in this time of COVID. So, can you suggest ways to pre-diabetic patients or who are at borderline right now, how to control it through their lifestyle changes or through some food?
Yeah, definitely. See, actually, India is the diabetic capital of the world. India
Yes,
is
I
the
read that.
diabetic capital. See, it is not a good one to hear. It is
I
something
understand. Yeah, of
negative. If
course.
it is positive, it is good to hear. So, actually, why it is happening? Because people are eating irrationally in major sense. That has
Okay.
to be completely transformed. That's very important. I give very simple method of people revolutionarily changing their weight loss or becoming fit, everything. People,
Right.
the time has come, people should adopt this approach. What they have to eat calorie consciousness, right? They have to adopt calorie consciousness with eating. If they do
Exactly.
this, definitely they will come out of all these diabetics. They can't come out, they can have in
Yeah,
control.
control it. Yeah.
You
They
can
have in
balance it.
control. See, actually what I'm telling now, just follow calorie consciousness. And mere eating rationally alone will not help in diluting and normalizing diabetes, right? Very important factor is stress. Most people, they
Yes.
don't know, they
Yes.
concentrate only on eating less for diabetic control. Stress will increase the diabetes even if you are eating with calorie consciousness. if
Yes.
stress is if stress is increased, even though if you are eating little, the stress will just transform the glycogen from the fat into the blood cells. And also very important is the stress will transfer the fat cells, no, the like glucose in the fat cells all over the body into your visceral fat. The visceral
Right.
fat means it's a central obesity. People who are having central obesity, they will have more, right, diabetic complications. Their diabetic value will not dilute, however they control the intake of food. So these food and stress, if they both take care of, then things will become better. So they have to start eating with calorie consciousness. They
Hmm.
have to definitely exercise. That's very important. Just
Right.
at least 30 minutes of brisk walk. I'm introducing another important point for the awareness of people. Mere 30 minutes walk at one time is not sufficient. Our system is evolved as for the caveman style. We are
Aha.
caveman descendants. So we have to walk often, every 1 hour, every 2 hours, at least 3 minutes of walk is very important.
That's
So
very interesting.
eating calorie consciousness, walking, and keeping the mind very peaceful. Unless you go not going to do this, your diabetic will not come in control at all. Just keep
Right.
your mind. For that, you practice yoga and meditation, like doing brushing every day. Practice 5 minutes of meditation morning and evening. Keep your mind calm, right? Don't get very much fear. See, in those days the caveman will be always in a stress level to safeguard himself from the animals.
Yeah.
Now what happens, now animals are there, no animals are not here now. So people, with respect to money, if they don't have money, it is
Yeah.
equal to tiger, so they get stressed. If there is a relationship problem, it is equal to lion, again they get stressed. For
Right.
everything they get stressed continuously, and that will destroy the metabolism of the food
Many
processing, and
factors.
that will lead to all these diabetic complications.
Yeah. That's very interesting and actually very educative, doctor.
Thank
Uh,
you.
and Mr. Durgesh, as a
Yes,
nutritionist, how
sir.
difficult is it to ask people to be calorie conscious?
So, since our childhood, we have learned that balanced diet is the best thing. I
Okay.
also tell that many of my clients to do the balanced diet, not the intermittent fasting or fasting, what the trend has become nowadays. The
Right.
sudden change of a human body, while the behavior of what they're eating right now, can lead to decrease the life expectancy,
Yeah. Of
which
course.
is being in a calorie deficit or restricting calories, suddenly a change can decrease the life expectancy, which
Mm-hmm.
has already made it. So when we look upon to our ancestors, they have a good timing of eating food, where they used to wake up early, go for the work and eat there, and come early to home and sleep, have dinner and sleep early. This
Exactly.
was our ancestors. So
Right.
fasting they made into once a week or twice a month. They made into such thing. But nowadays they have come up with a Western follow-ups with intermittent fasting or fasting for 15 days, fasting for 12 days, water fasting, watermelon fasting, detoxification. The whole they can, of course, they give results in a sudden way of reducing the weight, which people are getting attracted to it,
Right.
but that is very unhealthy.
I
So
understand.
as a nutritionist and also as parent psychologist, I always give a diet plans to my clients with a well balanced diet, which should have a RDA based, and also which should be based on their metabolic rate, as well
So
as
basically,
also how they work out.
do you customize the diet plans for each and everyone's individual
Yes,
needs?
sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
I
Based
understand.
on their body and the lifestyle I give them,
Okay,
so that it can be a very good, healthier way to reduce their weight, as well as it won't affect their life expectancy, which
I
should
understand.
be aware of for every nutritionist.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So this we have to go into the question and answers now because we are already over a time. But yeah, diabetes is something which obviously affects a large number of Indians. I just wanted to put this to you, Shweta and Sanjana both. When if you have got clients who are diabetic, do you basically have something extra special suggestion for them when it comes to combining their diet and lifestyle?
I think it's more management. There's no extra special for anybody, but the timings are very important, especially when it comes to diabetic patients.
Right.
Uh, because morning is the time where their glucose levels,
Sure.
rise fast.
Yeah,
And,
exactly.
that is the time where we need to avoid any kind of foods which are really highly processed, or there are a lot of added sugars in the food.
Hmm.
And carbohydrates have to be well balanced with a good amount of protein and fiber, especially in the morning time.
Right.
And as we come to the evening time, we can then be a little lenient. um, but again, portion control plays a great role in how you deal with each kind of
Exactly.
because all of these diseases are lifestyle diseases.
Exactly. Yeah, as Dr. Prabhakaran put it.
Yeah,
And Sanjana does, again, I'm because you are also a certified yoga trainer. Do you also recommend certain yogasanas for controlling diabetes? Is there something that can help?
Definitely, definitely, definitely. So, Devadeep, basically, yes, there are asanas, right? There are many asanas, but I'll name some certain asanas for diabetic people, like Ardha Matsyendrasan,
Okay.
and there is a diaphragmatic breathing pattern,
Okay. Okay.
and yes, Kapalbhati for them,
Right.
and Nadi Shodhan for everybody who all are, dealing with certain kind of clinical condition, or if they are taking medication for something. So there are breathing practices which is like whichever I have named right now. So these are like standard, and yes, whatever the abdominal pressing, when you
Right.
bend forward and then when you press your abdomen, right? So
Yeah.
that certain sort of asanas which will be helpful for the diabetic people. Also, I'm pretty much very much agree with Dr. Prabhakaran, because what he said, the stress management,
Yeah.
right, very very important part. Even I suggest some of the pranayamas One of them is Brahmari Pranayam, which I
Okay.
suggest people to do before they go to sleep, right? In the bed
Okay.
itself, they can sit and they can do. It
Understand.
creates a lot of vibration and gives relaxation to the mind.
Okay.
It's a very quick and it's a very gentle also. So that's how. So more of a stress management, abdominal pressing, a little abdominal twist, right?
Hmm.
And as I said, Nadi Shodhan, Kapalbhati, and
Okay.
diaphragmatic breathing.
I hope everyone is listening to this. This is very informative,
Yes.
and I have to get to the questions now because we are almost run out of time. So the first one, I specifically want to ask this to Dr. Prabhakaran because this is something he said, and the question came from I think that how do we train our brain not to go out and have like food at restaurant or eateries and eat more at home?
More at home, yes.
Yeah.
Definitely, I will tell. Actually, first, what you have to do now, you have to first develop more craving for health. That is very important.
Right.
If you develop a craving for health and fitness, automatically people will stop going out for eating, and
Okay.
they love only homemade foods. In other words, we can copy the brain of the people who are eating only at home. Those who
Okay.
are eating only at home, they are health conscious. Take the cue from that. If you
Hmm.
develop more health consciousness, you will start doing that. Much it can be told easily, but difficult to do. For that,
I
I am
understand. Yeah, of course.
what I am recommending now. Do a auto suggestion and a what is a visualization continuously, as though you are health conscious, and visualize yourself as a healthy individual. Visualize yourself always eating at home. Visualize yourself as though your friends calling for the water, but you are telling no. Like that and all, if you keep visualizing and keep doing auto suggestions, you can easily cut yourself going for outside food and eating only at home.
Okay, yeah, very interesting. The next question I will ask the two nutritionists on the planet, Shweta and Dukesh. This is I'll take two questions at a time because there are many. So first is cheese okay to eat? Any particular type of cheese that we should avoid, or anything that is safe? Also, what are saturated and unsaturated fat, and how they affect our, I mean, how they affect the health in totality. Durgesh, you want to go first?
No, Sanjay.
Yeah. So the question is that is cheese okay to eat, and if any particular kind of cheese that should be avoided or something like that.
Cheese is okay as far as for if you eat in a limit.
Okay.
And also, if you're looking into the deep in nutritional way, it is not good because it has a very long chain fatty acids,
Uh
which
huh.
isn't healthy to an individual.
Right. And what are saturated and unsaturated fats? Just for a general understanding of people.
So saturated fats are something that have single bonds, so they easily break off.
Okay.
Okay, the fatty acid chains in them have only one bond chemically between them. So whenever you're looking to eat something, it has to have a more complex structure, because then your body takes time to break it down. So when it
Okay.
takes time to break it down, it is slowly released into your bloodstream. So then
Right.
automatically things are controlled when it comes to your sugar levels, and because major thing is getting your sugar levels in control always, whether
Okay. Yeah.
you
Yeah. Yeah.
have diabetes or not is not the question, but your sugar levels should always be in check, because that also adds to cravings. Like if you eat a lot of saturated fats altogether, or a lot of junk food altogether, you will see that you're still hungry in a while. This is because
Right.
it's very simple structure and it breaks down easily. So,
Okay.
and the same with like unsaturated fats are more complicated chemically
I
to break
understand.
down
Slowly.
by the body.
Okay.
I like to
So
add.
yeah, Dr. Prabhakaran, please.
Yeah, actually, I think she got a slightly confused. The unsaturated fats, they have double bonds and triple bonds.
Oh,
Excellent.
Saturated will have a single bond, and single bond is difficult to break. Double and triple can be broken. So
okay.
these oils and all those things, they are having double or triple bonds. And ghee, vanaspati, they have single bonds. So
Right.
Sorry.
single bonds are difficult to break. So they are not good for health. They won't get digested easily. whereas double and triple bonds can be broken. So oil is better. Oil itself is bad, but oil is better when compared to vanaspati and ghee.
Right. Understand. I
But
got
the
it.
thing
Yeah.
is, whichever fat you take, there is no completely unsaturated and saturated. They always come with a combination,
There's a combination.
saturated
Right.
and saturated. So the thing is, we have to look which has an unsaturated more or which has a saturated more.
Right.
Based on that, we have to opt for the food.
Okay. And last question. This is I got on WhatsApp. This is I think specifically for Sanjana. Someone has asked that I do yoga regularly, but problem is that after doing yoga, I feel more hungry. How to control that?
Okay. Okay. So, see, it depends, right? What time they are doing. I would also like to know, like, what is the timing when
Okay.
they, if they are doing in the morning, if somebody like wake up, right, they take some people might take to a glass of hot water, they go and freshen up, and then in the empty stomach some people start doing the yoga.
Right.
So
Right.
definitely, if you finish your last food somewhere around 8 or 9, I mean the last night, and then you are doing your yoga, and then by the time you finish it, definitely, because there is a calorie loss
Yeah.
as well, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
While
Yeah.
doing the intense yoga practice or the asanas, somebody have might have done some surya namaskara, then definitely they feel hungry,
I
right? So
understand.
after 20 minutes of the complete yoga practice, because there are some approaches, once you finish your asanas, then pranayamas, then meditation, if you are doing it, if some people does meditation, otherwise after the pranayamas they can take 20 minutes of break and they can have food. There is no
Okay.
harm in it, like
I
feeling
understand.
hungry, there is no harm in that.
Of course. We are completely out of time, but thank you all for joining this today. And this is a very important conversation that needs to happen more often, I think. Psychology of eating is deeply related to our body image, and almost always we associated it negatively rather positively. And we don't associate it with being healthy, rather how we look. So, Dr. Prabhakaran, Mr. Durgesh, Shweta, Sanjana, all of you today proved one point at least, that what you eat is basically not about only how you look, but so many complications can arise out of eating, and how to control your mind. I would uh, I thank all of you for joining. This is a wonderful
Thank you.
conversation, and I
Thank you.
hope
Great.
everyone takes some evocative lessons from it. All of our experts are available on Spark Live. If you have any personalized needs or help regarding your nutrition, doing yoga, or psychological counseling, please book their sessions through Spark Live. Thank you very much for joining.
Thank you
Let's
so
end it
Thank
there.
you.
much.
Thank you,
Thank you
Thank you
so
so
Sparkly
much,
for
much.
giving me
Devadeep.
this
Thank you so
Okay.
much, everybody.
Bye bye. Take care.
Bye.
Thank you all.
Great
Bye.
Bye bye.
session. Have a great time. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.